Hey guys, today's video is a first impressions on a foundation that I've actually never seen or heard anything about. I got it from Ulta because apparently Ulta ships to Canada now. And this is the Model's Own Runway Foundation Matte, Oil-Free. I think that's all it says. I got mine in the shade 01 Porcelain. It was the palest shade that they had, and you do get 1 fluid ounce, and I forget what the price of this was. It kind of smells a little bit like sunscreen, to be honest. There it is in the back of my hand. It's definitely pale, and I would say that it has a very neutral undertone. It's definitely not yellow, but it's not super pink either. So I do not have a particular primer on. I washed my face and put my seaweed like mattifying moisturizer day cream from the Body Shop on like hours ago, and I'm not going to be powdering either because 1, this is supposed to be a matte foundation, and 2, I never powder my skin when I'm doing foundation first impression. So I'm going to try 1/2 with a sponge and the other half with a brush. It's definitely like a thick formula, like that has not moved at all. Got a slightly damp beauty blender. Oh my god, this is too pale. I don't know if I've ever said that in my entire life. Okay, if you are really pale, this shade Porcelain is a good one. But you know what, I'm never going to hate on a really pale foundation because I have a hell of a lot of foundations that are way too dark for me that could benefit from mixing in with something like this. Because sometimes I find that when I'm mixing in like a white foundation mixer, they're not always made with like, you know, the idea of a foundation in mind, so the consistency isn't always like amazing. But because this is actually supposed to be a foundation, it might be a really great thing to mix in with darker foundation. It gave like about a medium coverage. I mean, you can still see like there's a pimple there, like just redness, freckles, little things, but it did smooth everything out, and it did not at all emphasize any flakiness I tend to have. Like textured skin and dry patches, even though I am oily, I kind of have like, you know, some flakiness as well. So I'm gonna try a foundation brush on the other side. This is the e.l.f. powder blurring brush, but it is like very kind of dense. So I'm gonna try that guy. I do feel like it's a little bit more seamless on the Beauty Blender side, but I definitely think you can use either or. The brush did not like at all make any of my texture worse. The first time in my life, I am hoping that this oxidizes. See, if I'm back here away from the lights, it doesn't look quite as bad. It has pretty much completely set down, but it does not feel insanely drying. Even though it is matte, it doesn't like cake up like a powder finish that's too powdery. I'm definitely going to be bronzing my face to the max today, but for me, like I said, I do have oily skin, especially in my T-zone, so I'm going to be testing how it lasts on my face throughout the entire day, so I will definitely be back to check in at the end of the night. So I got a couple bronzers here. I'm going to start out by using my Cover FX Sun-Kissed bronzer. This one is definitely a light bronzer, but I'm feeling like first I need to like bring some normal color into my face, and then I need to bronze it up afterwards. I'm just gonna take some of this Rimmel natural bronzer just because it is a little bit warmer and darker, and just go a little bit more. I'm gonna take this Model's Own Sculpt and Glow Peach Pearl highlighter. Looks really pretty. It's definitely really pink, but gorgeous for sure. It's very natural. Obviously that highlight is the highlight, but it is pretty dang matte, and it doesn't feel like it's going to transfer at all. Like, it doesn't feel sticky at all. It's definitely more on the semi-matte versus like totally matte, because like I said, it doesn't have a really thick powder finish, but it looks really nice, and this is actually the kind of finish and coverage that I enjoy the most. Hey guys, it is now the end of the night. It is almost 9 o'clock and I've had the foundation on since about 10 this morning. So I did want to show you guys what it looks like. Obviously my glasses marks are pretty much unavoidable. And I have to say that I'm having kind of like a love-hate with this foundation formula. So as you guys know, it's obviously not my color. It is too pale for me, which I don't know if that's really ever happened to me before in my life. So I do feel like I don't look shiny. So it did hold up to its matte claim. But there's just something that I don't love about it, and it has to do with the way that it feels for me. And I mean, it just feels a little bit heavy on my skin, and even though it's not transferring and it's not sticky, I just kind of want to get it off my face, which seems kind of funny to say. I feel like even though it controlled my oils, you know, from breaking through the foundation, I feel like I do have oils that are sitting underneath the foundation, and that feeling is feeling kind of heavy, you know, kind of cakey in some areas, especially like in certain areas of my nose, and especially like in the crevices here. And it definitely is sinking into some lines. Not bad, but just a little bit here and there as well. I'm like a 50-50 on this. I actually am loving that it's really pale, because I think it's going to be excellent for mixing in with other foundations that are way too dark, especially that it is pretty mattifying, but on its own, one, the color's not good, and two, I feel like I need to thin it out with something else, like a foundation that's a little bit more comfortable and lightweight. I feel like if you're like an NW10 or paler in MAC, you would really appreciate this foundation. One thing that I will say is it did not oxidize, it did not turn orange, it stayed like as pale as I put it on. And like I said before, it didn't cling to my dry patches too badly or any kind of flakiness on my skin. So I feel like if you have dry skin and you like that matte look, this might be an option for you. In a way, this reminds me of the NYX Stay Matte But Not Flat foundation, except for this one is more matte. All in all, I think it's a good foundation. I love that I found a foundation that was paler than me so that I can tell you guys about it, and also, like I said a million times, mix in with two dark foundations. So all in all, I hope this review helped you guys out. Thank you guys so much for watching as always, and I will see you in my next video.